What a save by Laurel!
History has repeated itself. Greater Sudbury has won back-to-back NOJHL championships.
Welcome back into our league studio, everybody. I'm Alex Bastiavansky, and this is NOJHL Game Day. On tap for today are some big matchups, and I'm here to get you all set up before the puck drops. So let's get to it.
Big blowout win over French River in their last game of 2025. Caden DeBoy can't hang on to it. Great pass in front by Kane, and they score! Caden Long, the beneficiary of a great strip play by the aforementioned Owen Kane, and the Cubs are off and running here in period number 1.
Sudbury got the early jump on Powassan last night. Now, you know when you're expecting a really great present, but then it turns out to be a dud when you open it? Unfortunately, that's what happened in this one. We were expecting an incredible game, but it was all Cubs. The Voodoos couldn't get anything going. Chances like that one, few and far between. The Cubs, on the other hand, were ruthless. Midway through the first, a beauty. Cohan, McCartney worked the give and go to perfection. Noah makes it 2-zip Cubs, and they were far from done.
Kinderboy with a soft pass for Vlad. He looks to shoot towards the goal. That's deflected wide by Braden Begley. Here's a pass for Vlad. Waits, shoots, scores! Welcome back, Alex, on Vlad! Well, across the center line, and now Klinkhammer on another misplayed puck. He'll take it up the right-hand side. Klinkhammer stops, throws it in the middle. Cohen shoots and scores! Another turnover results in another goal for Sudbury, and Cohen has a pair. Make it 4-0 Cubbies.
The Voodoos would finally get on the board when Braden Begley floats in the point shot for the power play marker to make it 4-1, but the Cubs came right back.
Sudbury's lead now down to 3. Owen Kane on the right side, drops it off. Jacobson ready, calling for it, shoots it. Save a rebound, he scores! Morgan from behind his goal. Looks off by his long-range pass, finds Newton at the blue line. Newton quickly for Kane, who gains the offensive zone, looks across, they score! Owen Kane looked for the cross-ice pass for Walker, but instead it goes off of a Voodoos defender.
The season series is now tied at 3 wins apiece. Cubs win this one 9-2. The Cubs have outscored the Voodoos 25-5 in their 3 wins. Today's game's brought to you, of course, by Rogers. Great deals happening now. Rogers shop today. Timmins facing off with Kirkland Lake, and Timmins has got 2 huge streaks going on right now. Number one, against the Miners. First of all, they are 2-0 against them this season. Miners 2-3 over their last 5 games. But the Rock is going for its 56th consecutive win over Kirkland Lake, going back several seasons now. And of course, Timmins is also trying to extend our franchise record winning streak to 18 games. Powassan taking on Espanola. The Voodoos looking to bounce back after last night. They are 2-1 against the Paper Kings so far this season. Espanola 2-3 over its last 5. The Voodoos have now lost 2 of their last 3 after losing big time to Sudbury. The Sioux Eagles taking on Blind River, and the Eagles have had their numbers so far this season, going 5-0 against the boys in red. Sioux 2-0-2-1 over their last 5. The Beavers, of course, mired in an awful 8-game losing streak. Sudbury facing French River. This one could get ugly. The Cubs are 4-0 against the Rapids so far this season, outscoring them 32-6. The Cubs just 2 losses over their last 20 with the Rapids on a 12-game losing streak. Your scoring leaders as we head into the weekend, Matthew Comeau on top with 60 points, followed closely by Nolan Newton. And then it's New Hearst Lumberjack Cameron Renard with 55. His teammate Chase Thompson, 53. Joey Coates rounding out the top 5 with 48 points. And a reminder, the CJHL trade deadline is tomorrow, Saturday, January 10th. Who will make big moves before the buzzer goes? Be sure to tune in to Sunday's Game Day program, as I'll have special guests on to break down the biggest transactions that happened with our trade deadline special. Primetime player from last night, Jacob Signoretti, huge in the game against Powassan. He picked up his first career NOJHL hat trick. Way to go Jacob, congratulations. And your play of the day, brought to you, of course, by BrokerLink, auto, home, and business insurance. BrokerLink, life is confusing. Your insurance shouldn't be. And we're going with Noah Cohan and Aidan McCartney, who hooked up for some magic against the Voodoos.
Keep in mind, no fighting technically in this league. I was wondering if those two were going to square up for a minute. Here's Cohan, he scores! Oh, baby, what a rip from Noah Cohan. He goes top corner, and the Cubs go up by 2. That was a thing of beauty from Noah Cohan. He got an amazing feed, and he made absolutely no mistake going over the right-handed catching glove of Derek Champagne.
And that's all the time we've got for today. But just remember that all throughout the NOJHL season, you can stay up to date with everything that's going on with the league by checking out its official social media outlets. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Welcome to Powassan for a Friday night edition of the NOJHL live on Flow Hockey, as well as the Frontline YouTube channel, brought to you by Average Joe's. I'm Ben Sargent, joined by Harrison Clements as the Powassan Voodoos welcome in the Espanola Paper Kings for the first home game of 2026 and first home game since December 13th, almost a full calendar month from then. So the Voodoos, despite dropping their last game before the break to Kirkland Lake, then ended up getting thumped 9-2 against Sudbury in their first game back, are in a good run of form in their last 10. A 7-3 record. They find themselves 5th in the standings, 1 point ahead of the aforementioned Paper Kings and only 2 points off 3rd. With a couple of games in hand on some of the teams ahead of them, it was a good holiday for Marcus Kratz, who was named as the December Player of the Month defensively for the NOJHL, and also committing to Concordia University, Wisconsin, a 3rd Division NCAA team, which was announced on this past Tuesday. Ryan Saginaw is the man who leads this team with 38 points, 18 goals in 30 games. For the Paper Kings, a 5-5 record in their last 10, which also saw them go into the break on a losing note, dropping games against the Thunderbirds and Cubs, but they did start their 2026 off with a win over the French River Rapids, who they are also facing tomorrow night when they go back home. They are 1 point behind this Voodoos team, albeit they are 3 more games ahead. So this will be a big game, a chance to catch their Highway 17 rivals. Joseph Coates is the man to watch offensively for the Paper Kings. 48 points in 33 games played with 18 goals, the same as his counterpart, Ryan Saginaw. And this is also the day before the trade deadline in the NOJHL. It is the trade deadline today in the OHL. And Harrison, the Voodoos and Paper Kings were busy this past week.
Absolutely, and while the Voodoos and the Paper Kings are meeting tonight, their general managers have met a little earlier as they swap defenders with the Espanola Paper Kings, moving the 2006 birth year right-hand shot defender of... They moved Reed to box in exchange for a 20-year-old veteran defender, Bruce Gray. Gray knows the league well. The West Vancouver, BC product has over 130 games of experience split between Kirkland Lake, Iroquois Falls, and Espanola, where he has only dressed for 2 games prior to the trade. In 30 games, Gray has 6 goals and 10 assists for 16 points. We also have some movement within the ranks of the Voodoos as Cole Vrugdenhill has been called up by the North Bay Battalion tonight as he is dressing in backup for Jack Lisson as Mike McIver suffered an injury in a 4-2 win over the Ottawa 67s last night. Pereira is also back with the battalion. Pereira is also on the trip with the battalion to Brampton tonight and will join the Voodoos at practice Monday morning. And on that note, Pereira has been brought back to the Powassan Voodoos as the OHL trade deadline took place. So there's a couple of reinforcements coming in here for the Voodoos. On the other hand, Espanola, a little bit before the trade deadline, made a massive deal with the Hearst Lumberjacks. getting rid of 3 players in exchange for cash. They sent Cameron Menard, Luke Warner, and star goaltender Jack Helke to the Lumberjacks. So a little bit of a different Espanola team than we've seen here in a while, Ben.
Yeah, and when you look at their goaltender, of course, Carter Arnold will be one of the men who, not getting the start tonight, but he is the call-up from the Yarmouth Mariners. And obviously no games started here in the NOJHL, but his counterpart, Logan Vale, who will be making the start in net for the Espanola Paper Kings in 19 games, is 11-4 with a .336 goals against average, a .920 save percentage. He's going to be facing up against Derek Champagne. Derek Champagne coming in 16 games played. He's 10-4 with a .301 goals against average, a .933 save percentage. We talked about this last year, and I mentioned this on the broadcast with you before in previous games we've worked together, where when you look at the Voodoos, for a few years when they had Dorocolo and they had some of those guys who've been in with this team for a while, they had a lot of help back in the back end. They had a lot of stability back there, guys who've been here for a number of years. Last year, it was brand new guys. You didn't know what you were going to get. Austin Seabell, Tyson Wilcox come in and were phenomenal. Then this year, the same thing. Both those goaltenders leave. You get in guys like Cole Vrugdenhill. You get Derek Champagne in. You get a couple of these guys who come in and they still stop the puck. Najo, another guy who came in and has done well. So it's going to be a great goaltending matchup, and as soon as I say that, it's probably going to end up being like a 9-8 game today.
Oh, the broadcasting curse, but we also got to talk about a Voodoos call-up from the Great North U18 League, the North Bay U16 Trappers, and I'm sure you've called a couple of his games as well. Josh Saucier, who's played 12 games this season. Not Josh Saucier. I brought up. No, that's the wrong player profile, but.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good. I've seen him. Of course, the first game I saw him was unfortunately a 16-1 thumping at the hands of the U18 Sudbury Wolves in this building. That he was in net for probably about 10 of those goals when he came in for in relief, I should say, of Etier, who was pulled after about 6 or 7 goals. He's looked very good. If you talk to Rob Graham, who's, of course, not just a goaltending coach, but also the man who does color with me on most of the broadcasts for the U18 Trappers, does all the U16s, he will tell you how he's a really, really solid goaltender. Him and Etier are going to be taking the reins next year, most likely, for the U18s, who also have 2 phenomenal goalies in Logan Coates and Carson Ruddy, who might find themselves in Powassan or in the NOJHL, as both of them are very strong. In fact, Carson Ruddy has been probably the #1 goaltender in the league this year. So there is some help in the wings. The Trappers have been a huge part of this team, of this Voodoos team, when you look at the amount of fingerprints they have all over the roster. But first, we're going to take a quick break for the national anthems. When we come back, it'll be puck drop between Espanola and Powassan. As we get set up here for the start of the game, Harrison, what are you going to be looking for between these two teams?
Well, the most important thing for these two teams is to control the pace early. Both these teams can move very quickly, especially on this shortened ice here in the Sportsplex, but Espanola is known for playing fast and playing really physical. They'll take advantage if your defense is up too high, and they will find those gaps. So the Voodoos got to stick to the blue line, watch for those sneaky little plays in behind them, and shut that down early. Counterattack, for the Voodoos, they need to play the physical more battles. When they're running the cycle effectively, they get lots of offensive opportunities. With a different looking Espanola team, you got to take advantage of that early.
So, as we get set to go, Espanola is in there visiting dark blue with the highlight green accents. Really nice jerseys, I should say, as well. The Voodoos in their home whites, and the puck is dropped, and we are underway here in Powassan for what should be an electric evening of hockey. As for the Espanola Paper Kings, they'll start off with Levi Lux, Emerson DiGiacomo, and Kane Savage on the forward line, with Wyatt Ferries and Reed the Box, the former Voodoo, defensively. On the other side of things, it'll be Heath Bradley, Justin Russo, and Benjamin Kapoor will be up on the line here for the Voodoos. As we get set off here, it goes behind. Champagne comes out to play it. Champagne leaves it. There's Parker Bonsignor, but he loses the puck in the neutral zone. Now the puck gets dumped down. It's going to be touched by a blue player in the neutral zone, so it'll be no icing. As the Voodoos look to come, well, both these teams look to come off soaring big. And now here's an early opportunity. There's a shot that goes high and wide. That one off the stick of Graydon Guthrie. Now Guthrie, again, there's Coates. Coates shoots and it gets blocked by Bradley. Voodoos trying to get the puck out of their zone. There's Brown with a Brown. Now again, Voodoos still trying to get it out. It's finally taken out of the zone by Bagley. Then it's wrapped back in. The Voodoos kind of not able to get going, and now Brown takes out Shaw. Shaw's on the wrong side of the blue line, but he is able to skip over and get back on side, but it didn't matter anyways, as it gets dumped back into Espinola's zone. Both teams have been in the offensive zone, but haven't really gotten a solid shot on net yet. So the Paper Kings have looked a little bit more dangerous here in the 2 minutes, but here's a giveaway. Owen Head, the former Trapper, just dumps it in. Outcome to play it is Logan Vale. Vale will be the main person between the pipes, it looks like, after the trade that Espanola made for their other star netminder. So I'm sure he'll be getting a lot of game time between the pipes. Not that he hasn't already, but he might be called on a little bit more as we get into the stretch. 19 games already played of the 33. As here's Caleb Dawson. Dawson's pass, it gets taken by DeBox. DeBox trying to get around his man, but Jasoni's the stronger of the two. It gets knocked into the corner. Wraps around Bruce Gray out there now, number 2 in white. Both him and DeBox, no names on the back of their jerseys since the time it takes to have those changeover happens prior to a trade, but they will be facing each other here. As here's Dawson again, he claps it off the glass, and now it finds the stick of Ryan Saginaw. Saginaw looking for his team-leading 19th goal. He just dumps it in. Vale will glove it down, and he'll hang on for a whistle.
We'll talk about that quick pace. It's been nearly 3 minutes of back-and-forth action here. And as you mentioned, Ben, there hasn't quite been any high-danger opportunities, but there's been a lot of battle at the blue lines, a lot of looking for those quick passes. We saw a brief 2-on-1 generated by Anthony Boyce early on, but both teams defending well, getting sticks in.
Near side boards, and now it goes off a body up into the netting and out for a whistle.
Shots sitting at 2-1, or 2-0 at this point.
I don't know, Harrison, you're doing the shots here.
I am doing the shots.
I don't know what's happening. What's the shot?
So it is 2-1.
You should know. You're the one doing them.
I should know this.
Not a good start here at the Sportsplex, ladies and gentlemen. As the faceoff's won by Espanola, but quickly off the draw, stolen by Marnell. Now up come the Voodoos on the break. But they're not able to get the puck in a dangerous area. Now the puck's behind the net there, looking on the stick of Barclay. Barkley looking for somebody all over him there is Levi Lux. Another puck comes back to the point. Brown's shot goes well wide of the mark. Banks off the boards. Comes down there to Landry. Landry plays it through after he gets checked hard by Lux. And now it's going to come all the way down for an icing call as Bagley touches up. With 15:48 to go in the first period. And if my math is correct, That's 4 minutes and 22 seconds. No, 4 minutes and 12 seconds gone. Ah, you got me. It's a Friday night. We don't do math on Friday nights. We don't do math at all on this broadcast.
No, we do not. And
not while I'm here. School's out.
School is out, and no other place to be than Powassan on a Friday night. Exciting hockey here so far.
Face-off win here by Espanola as we're back underway. Read the box, looking to make a mark against his former team. A man who really did come up through this organization. He was an AP player for a couple of years. Didn't see too much of the ice, but really stapled himself as a mainstay in this lineup. Now finds himself in the visitor bench here in Powassan, and just a couple of kilometers down the Highway 17 corridor as into the neutral zone. This one is flipped and right into the face of head coach Peter Goulet.
Quick back and forth action still continuing here. Neither team really having a clear advantage. Just trying to find that space, but playing really tight man to man, especially down along the boards. It's been effective so far.
Face off here, coming off to the right-hand side of Champaign. Won by the Voodoos. They try to break out. It's stunted a little bit, but up comes Kupal. Now there's a chance. Shot, and that just goes wide. That was the best chance the Voodoos have had to try to get one by Vale. Still only 2 shots on the marker here. And now who's Roussel? Roussel's shot, and it's going to be blockered away by Vale. Now back the other way into Voodoo territory. A couple of white jerseys all over it. Bradley with it at his own line. He gets it up there to Kupal. Now here's a chance. Kratz shot as he joins the rush, and Vale grabs it. And coming right in was the captain for the Voodoos, who's getting pushed around a little bit down there, as that will draw a whistle as Vale holds up.
And a couple of solid rushing opportunities for the Voodoos, even a brief 3-on-1. The initial play was there, but the finish just couldn't quite happen. And then counterattacking the other way. The Voodoos are not overcomplicating things. They're finding their opportunities, and they're getting the puck to the net. More time in the offensive zone is good, even if it doesn't end up going in, as they'll get, feels like their 5th or 6th offensive zone draw so far.
Owen Head going up against Owen Smith in the face-off dot. It's won by Owen Head. Wrapped around by Bagley. He was looking for somebody, but he ended up only finding Mrazek, who was not able to get it out. And now Caleb Dawson not able to keep the puck in either, and now finally cleared here by the Paper Kings, or maybe not, as Miller almost ended up losing it. He collects it again and still can't get it out. Now here's Saginaw. Saginaw over to Head. Head looking in front for Saginaw, and the puck was loose and right there. And now it's brought up the other way in a rush. Here comes Miller. Smith looking for someone in front, leaves it for Brownlee, his shot, and it's stopped by Champaign, though it looked like it was heading wide. And now another shot off the side of the net. It's cleared away. The box puts it into the end boards. Puck still out in front, into the slot area, cleared away by Owen Head. Cleared away again, this time by Brown, and now finally out, but it's going to go out for icing. So Dawson on the wrong side of the red line will keep the white jerseys out on the ice, but a great opportunity on both ends of the ice for one of these teams to break the deadlock.
And the Voodoos, again, setting up really well off of that draw. They keep up that pressure, but Espanola is so quick on the transition. They get 4 bodies moving at the second that they think that they have puck control and generate some really good chances.
Here's a shot right off the draw. It goes off of Champaign, off the post and wide. A shot that came off of Drigo's stick. And almost like that, Carter Drigo had the opening goal in this contest, which would have been his 16th of the year. A man who's found second in goals right now for the Paper Kings. Owen Smith right behind him with 14. Can't be cleared out. Powassan with a chance. Roussel sends it back. A nice little move by Kratz. Kratz fires, and it goes wide. It goes through as the net gets knocked off its moorings. It goes through the crowd of bodies, but ends up going wide blocker's side. And we'll have a stoppage of play as they fix the net.
And that was an absolutely fantastic move from Marcus Kratz. He gets the dish from Roussel. Everyone thinks he's going to shoot. Is able to cut inside a little bit closer and into the slot and just misses wide. It was a solid play and a couple creative plays so far here from Powassan.
7 minutes gone here in this opening frame. Technically 6 minutes and 59 seconds as there's 13:01 on the clock.
Math.
But that's not math. That's just basic science. It's going to be a long night. I still got 2 Trapper games to do this weekend. It's going to be a fun time. Face-off won here by the Voodoos, but then quickly poked ahead there by number 24, Matthew Spencer in blue. Puck now back in the Voodoo zone. Marnell was not able to grab that. It's now Barkley who sends his man to the ice. One of those reverse hits, this 24 hits 24. Now, here come the Paper Kings. A weak shot from near the blue line is easily stopped by Champagne. And now there's going to be a race for no icing, and no icing is the call here as the Voodoos beat it out. Landry's in there alongside, looks like that's the captain, Justin Rousseau. I'll check that. That was actually number 6, Jackson Marnell. Puck back in the Voodoos' end. Again, trying to get an opportunity in on net. 4-4 the shots here, but a very high-firing opening frame. As we said, both these goalies coming in sporting right near 3.0 goals against average. So you don't expect too many goals, but you never know when these two face off against each other. Usually we see the goals fly. As here is behind their own red line. Now coming up is Roussel, starting the charge. Back to Roussel. He gets around the line. Roussel, he's got about 3 bodies on him. And finally, with no help as they went off for a change, had to kind of give up. Now a pass into the slot area coming off the stick there of Bonsignor, but nobody was there to get it. The other way, Savage. Savage shot stopped by Champagne, put into the corner. Puck floats all the way through the slot area. Nobody there in blue or white able to grab it. And now it wraps it around behind the Voodoo's net. Now a lead pass here. It was looking for the stick of Anthony Boyes, but a heavy touch brings it into the corner. Or else he would have been all alone. What a lead pass from one end of the ice to the other. Exactly what it looks like the Voodoos have been trying to do on this last stretch of plays. Now it's dumped in by Espanola. Looking for the dump and chase. Now this pass, it's going to be... icing will be waved off as it goes off the end boards, ends up going into Vale's hand. As it looks like the referee waved off icing despite the linesman protest, and it will be a face-off now to the right of Logan Vale.
Well, it's fortunate it bounced onto the pads of Vale because Parker Bonsignor had lots of space chasing down that puck and could have had a solid opportunity. A couple solid opportunities for the Voodoos on that last shift. That Boyes stretch pass that he couldn't quite handle. Bonsignor in quick. The Voodoos are pressing.
You can really see what they're trying to do. Now another chance right off the draw. A puck that bounced into Vale, and now Vale falls over a Voodoos player, finds himself in the blue paint. The referee there making sure nothing happens, and on the other end of the ice, there's a shot that comes in and floats into the glove of Champagne for a whistle, as we were kind of looking to see if maybe there would be any penalties that were coming in, but none to speak of. And as we reach the halfway mark of this first period, when you look at it, Harrison, so far, really good back end-to-end action so far. Which team do you think is going to break the deadlock based on what we've seen?
The Voodoos are just getting more chances from the high danger areas. A lot of the shots that the Paper Kings are getting are just from above the face-off circle.
There's a shot off the draw at the top of the face-off circle, as you mentioned.
From distance, and Champagne's been tracking them very well. You got to get into the gritty areas.
He has. That did not make it to the net, though. It hit off a leg and went into the corner, and now the Voodoos break out the other way. Kupal, he gets knocked off by DeBox, who says, welcome back to Powassan. First home game here of 2026. I almost said 2025. Whole year from now. 2026. Now here's Kupal. Shot goes wide. And there's Kupal again. He's had an impressive little start of the game so far. For Benjamin Kupal. And there's a shot! Up to the top shelf. And the Voodoos, Heath Bradley, breaks the deadlock. It's 1-0. And again, we talked about Kupal's work ethic there, back behind the net. He gets a shot on, he keeps the puck alive, he keeps that play alive. And then Heath Bradley, right at the hash marks, goes top shelf where Grandma hides the cookies over the glove of Vale. who is not going to get any cookies from that to make it 1-0.
And that's Powassan executing their game plan perfectly. You get in on the forecheck, you extend zone time, you find it to the open man, and when you got a guy as big as Heath Bradley, he's going to make that space whether he's guarded or not, and he makes no mistake on that shot. Perfectly executed from Powassan.
So the Voodoos take that first lead. That's Bradley's 4th goal of the season. He's got 4 now in 21 games played. He has 9 assists to go with that. Now here's Espanola looking for an answer. There was a shot that comes off the stick of Zachary Gron, and it goes wide. Kupal picking up his 6th assist. His 13 goals for the Voodoos are not anything to sniff at either. But a nice shot from Bradley, showing off what he's been able to do, what he's done with the Trappers. As the Paper Kings are going to look for an answer here before this period ends, and they might have it here. There's a shot. That shot ends up going wide by DeGiacomo. Another shot comes in. It hits skates. It finds itself in the skates, actually, of Levi Lux, and doesn't quite get to where it needs to go. Behind the net. Puck comes loose. Here's Bonsignor. Bonsignor gets it over to Brown. Brown, he's got a man with him. Brown shoots, and it goes off the post and wide. What an opportunity there for the Voodoos. Brown elects to keep it. He shoots it, and he almost makes it 2-0. The Voodoos looking to attack again. There was a pass looking to find the stick of Parker Bonsignor, but it was out of his reach, and now pressing and taking advantage of that. There's a shot from Roussel, but he wasn't able to quite get it on target as it goes well wide. What a chance from Jesse Lefebvre just moments earlier. Back to the point, Roussel. He gets it over. The Voodoos looking for number 2. There's a shot, and they get it! Off the stick of Pavel Barclay, number 24. And the Voodoos are in flight. 2-0 now. Back-to-back goals. They've applied the pressure, and Logan Vale has not had an answer for them.
And that's a copy and paste play we saw just a few minutes earlier. It was Roussel dishing the feed to the guy in the high slot. Kratz made that inside move and was able to get around his defender. And the same happens there, picks the spot, high glove, what a shot, what a goal. The Voodoos are buzzing right now.
Talked about how this can be a very interesting game when it comes to the standings, because right below Espanola from 7th place on, there's a pretty big dip in points. Espanola, now here's a chance though, Gallant. He's got a man with him, his shot, and it's off the body of Champagne. Espanola comes into this game 1 point behind the Voodoos with 3 games in hand, with a chance to go above them with a win, but so far they find themselves 3 points behind, still playing 3 more games, and the Voodoos, on the other hand, have climbed up the ladder a little bit by 2 points to put them on points with both the Sioux Thunderbirds and Hearst Lumberjacks tied for 4th and 3rd respectfully. Puck is in the Espanola zone, in the corner. The Voodoos looking to get it free again. They're looking for maybe the hat trick worth of goals here in this first period with 6:40 to go. Espanola has not found an answer here defensively. They find themselves still pinned in their own zone. Great work there by Bonsignor. Puck comes loose, another shot, and Vale kicks this one aside. There's going to be a penalty here as Bonsignor was getting tied up there with Paper Kings number 16, Zachary Gron, and going off to the box. It looks like Bonsignor is going off, and he's going off for roughing. So a power play opportunity here for the Paper Kings, and a chance for them to get back into the hockey game.
Well, the Paper Kings being given a lifeline here with 6:30 left in the opening period of play. The Voodoos have just extended zone time and winning those board battles, have just been doing everything right in the offensive zone. Now they're going to have to prove that they can do it really well in the defensive end. Down a man.
So face-off won by Espanola. Here's Makasoff. Back to Makasoff again. He gets it over to Smith. Down into the far corner. Looking back for Smith, but it's cleared away by the Voodoos, and that'll clear the danger. Espanola desperately needing to get back into this before the game gets out of hand, and what a chance to do that right here and get back within a goal. We still haven't had our mid-period break either, as it'll be if we have one, it'll be very late. Now here's Rousseau, the captain, Justin Rousseau on the penalty kill. Now just going to kill some time here in the corner. Smartly just brings it behind the Espanola net to kill off some precious seconds. Now 1:07 to go, but here's an opportunity. Smith's shot, and it goes off of a stick, flutters wide, and Champagne gets there, and then there's a big hit there by Rousseau as he runs into number 20, Levi Lux. But Espanola does have the puck here, and there was a shot from Ferries, comes out now back into the slot area and finally cleared by Landry. Voodoo's looking to change. There's 38 seconds left here on that roughing minor to the Voodoos, as it'll be a loose puck that's picked up by Champagne, and he'll hold on for the whistle. And a interesting power play so far.
Well, the Voodoos counter-attacking well, and they've had an excellent penalty kill percentage this year, sitting 5th in the league at 80.3% compared to Espinola's 21.5 power play percentage. But they've been counter-attacking well, and when you have a guy like Justin Rousseau out there operating at his best, just killing time in the end, going on the attack when you're supposed to be defending, it really helps things out for this Voodoo squad.
Espanola still has 28 seconds to go. Still a quarter of this power play to try to find something, but time is winding down. It goes back to the point, to the box. He gets it over. There's a shot, comes through, the puck's right there. What a save from Champagne! Champagne able to get the puck down. Now there's an Espanola player slow to get up off the ice. Looking to be Matthew Spencer, but now he's getting off the ice now. The power play, as that's going to be an icing call, has 5 seconds left, but Derek Champagne right on the doorstep denies Spencer, who looked like he had a wide open cage, but the pad is there to deny the Paper Kings their opening goal.
Champagne's been sharp up close. We saw earlier in the power play a nice track through traffic, seeing through the guy right in front of his crease, and then there a flurry of save, tracking the bouncing puck and keeping his team within a 2-goal lead.
Back to 5-on-5, but right on the break, here's Gallant. His shot comes in. Champagne will just guide it into the corner. 4:20 left to go here in this opening frame. The other way the Voodoos come. The captain, Rousseau, looking for somebody, but he wasn't able to find his own stick. Now it comes off. There's a shot from Kupal, but it ends up going high and wide. Rousseau was looking for somebody's stick. It found Jasoni, then found Kupal. Couldn't find the back of the net. Picked up here by Bruce Gray, the newest addition here to the Voodoos. Mentioned they're going to have some help with Jax Pereira, who was a great addition for this Voodoos team when he was here before he went to the battalion, and they'll get him back for the time being until the battalion call on his services again. Now there's a giveaway in the neutral zone. It was Roussel who gets it up and into the Paper Kings zone with 3.5 minutes to go here in this frame. Savage not able to get it in. Boys trying to get around Ferris. Boys now, he does get there on the near side, looking out in front for Bonsignor. Wasn't able to get a good handle. Now a penalty is going to be coming up to the Paper Kings, so now the Voodoos are going to end this period on the man advantage. A high sticking call is going to go against Emerson DiGiacomo, as number 9 in blue heads off to the sin bin for 2 minutes. Or maybe not, we'll see which one. Wait a second, maybe it's not DiGiacomo. We'll have to see.
We're seeing.
So DiGiacomo and Savage both looked like they were going to the box, but now it looks like they're going to be calling it on number 11, Carter Makasoff. So Makasoff was the man that they pinned the high stick on. There was a couple of Espanola players down who could have been the culprit, but they find their man, or at least the man who's going to be serving the time. Here's Marcus Kratz now. 3 minutes to go, and the Voodoos have their first power play. A chance to make it 3-0. as they head into the break. It would be a nice cushion to have going into the next 40 minutes. Pratt's coming in, but offside were the Voodoos. And now there's some more jawing, so maybe this rivalry, not as big as the Sudbury rivalry, but when it comes to capacity, how close we are, it's a pretty close rivalry.
The Espanola plays intense against everyone, and we've seen some real barn burners here at the Sportsplex. So far, a flurry of 2 goals to open the scoring for Powassan tonight, but the Paper Kings are still defending well.
Here's Roussel. He's going to bring it into the zone onside. It's going to wrap around there looking for Lefebvre. Lefebvre keeps it. He's able to get around Coates. Lefebvre trying to get it out in front. Back to the point now. It goes back to Boys. Off the stick of Roussel. Boys wraps it around for Lefebvre. A couple of former champion Trapper players. One of the many that are on this team. Here's Boys looking back for Lefebvre. Lefebvre looking to set something up in the slot area, trying to get and penetrate the box of the Espanola penalty kill. Here's Kratz at the point. Boys, back to Kratz. Marcus Kratz from the point. His shot blocked. Rebound! And it's Roussel who puts it in the open cage. But it looks like it's going to be waved away for a penalty potentially, as it looked like there was an interference call. That's going to be called, I'm assuming that happened on Logan Vale, and it's going to be the captain, Justin Rousseau, is going to go off for that, so no goal, and back to 4-on-4. So a moment of elation turns into a moment of disappointment for the Voodoos. As we take our mid-period break, we will be back on the other side of this quick break. So a lot has been happening here as we get back from our mid-period break. A lot has been happening here in the Sportsplex in this opening 20 minutes. We still have 40 minutes of hockey left to go, Harrison, as goal by Roussel that was waved off, and instead it's Rousseau, very similar names, but Rousseau goes off for interference, which puts us to 4-on-4 with 2 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock.
Well, we thought that there was going to be a goal on the play, as you said, and all of a sudden the Voodoos are put into an awkward situation. But the Voodoos have been finding pace on transition. They've been finding that space at 5-on-5. Maybe they can take advantage of 2 less men on the ice.
4-on-4, though these penalties will be over by the time the period comes to an end, though just barely, unless Espanola scores on the shorter power play they'll have. There'll only be 8 seconds of 5-on-5 before the end of the buzzer. Now, of course, that also depends if there's any more penalties here. As there's a minute 46 now on the clock. Puck is not out as Gallant keeps it in. Kept in again by Espanola. Gallant with it. He shoots it. It goes off the body there of a defender. And now here's a chance. Roussel looking for some redemption. Roussel looking to find Ryan Saginaw, but it just goes off him. The Voodoos still have possession here. In front looking for Saginaw again, but it flies through every body. It hits a bundle of snow near the benches and completely kills the momentum of the puck, which almost led to an opportunity by Owen Smith. So now a power play here for Espanola, as coming out of the box and back to 5-on-5 was Markusov, and they have an opportunity with under a minute to go. Shot goes wide, blockers or glove side on Champagne. Here's Miller. Miller looking for someone in front. His shot into the body of Champagne, as Caleb Dawson not too happy here as he throws his broken stick away. And then there's a bunch of pushing and shoving in front of Champagne, and it might be a long 40 minutes for these two teams, as already tensions are flaring up.
Well, the tail end of this period has been winding down like the end of a basketball game. Whistles every few seconds. A couple of rushing chances either way on the 4-on-4. And Espanola gaining the zone, finding the space, and getting a couple solid looks at the net of Derek Champagne with 39 seconds left in their power play. 47.3 in the first period.
Ooh, somebody jumped the gun on the clock because it went down to 47 before the puck was moved. But I don't know if anybody picked that up. Landry clears it away. Got no icing here as they are on the man advantage. Espanola not able to break out the way they wanted to, though. Anytime that puck is going towards the benches, there are just bundles of snow that are just killing the puck from moving. As here Smith makes a move around Jasoni. In the corner now. A couple of white jerseys, a couple of blue jerseys, looking to see who will break out from that. Only 14 seconds left. The power play winding down. Power play is over. Back to 5-on-5. 8 seconds until the buzzer. And now taking down Jasoni. He's lucky he didn't get a penalty there as he looked like he might have hauled down Owen Smith, but no call, and the buzzer goes. And Owen Smith pleading his case to the referee, but the referee's having none of it. And so that means an eventful first period that saw a bunch of power plays, especially near the end of the game. But at the end of the day, it is the Voodoos who found 2 goals and a disallowed goal here to lead 2-0 after 20 minutes.
And both teams have been rushing. They've been finding chances effectively, but the Voodoos have found a little bit more space on transition, finding those passes and playing the forecheck to much greater effect so far. Espinola's been bouncing back. They've been finding chances of their own and looked fairly effective on the power play. Both teams are going to have to stay solid, or this could go wildly in either direction. But most importantly, they both have to stay disciplined.
So Heath Bradley opened the scoring at the 10:16 mark, his 4th of the year. And then just about 2 minutes later at the 12:12 mark, Pavel Barkley with his 11th made it 2-0 in a very similar looking goal to Bradley's almost 2 minutes prior. We will take a break. On the other side, we will have the second period. Don't go anywhere because it is going to be a very interesting 40 minutes with the Voodoos leading at home 2-0. We welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex here as the Voodoos and Paper Kings find themselves in a 2-0 Voodoos lead so far here at the Sportsplex. As you are watching this live on Flow Hockey and the Frontline YouTube channel brought to you by Average Joe's. I'm Ben Sargent alongside with me, Harrison Clements. Let's take you really quickly around the league as there's a couple of other games, 3 other games precisely going on in the league tonight. On down, I think I'm going to say this, down Highway 17. Maybe my geography is not the best. In French River.
That's down Highway 17.
Let's go. 1-1. Greater Sudbury, also down Highway 17, is in French River, and gosh darn it, would you know it, they are up 4-1 right now after 1 period for the Cubs. So the Cubs lead French River 4-1 in French River. Kirkland Lake is up in Timmins, which is going to be an interesting drive home, I think, depending on how the weather is. A nice day today, but if you get a flash freeze, might not be so good. They started a little bit later at 7:30. They are 14 and a half minutes to go in that first period, and it is 0-0. Timmins, the team right now, one of the teams to beat, one of the teams the Voodoos are chasing in the standings as well. Of course, Hearst also there, but Timmins finds themselves second in the league right now, only a handful of points behind Sudbury, though they've played 4 fewer games. And the only other game on the docket tonight is in Sault Ste. Marie, where the Sioux Michigan Eagles are up 1-0 over the Blind River Beavers about halfway through that first period. We will keep you updated on those games as the evening progresses, most likely at the beginning of the third period. But speaking of the beginning of periods, Harrison, we are almost ready for this. So, Voodoos saw themselves score 2 goals. They looked good. The Paper Kings had a couple of opportunities, but got denied by Champaign. Very, very tight and up close. What is going to be the key for the Voodoos to keep their lead, and what's going to be the key for the Paper Kings to get back into this game?
Well, you got to keep it clean if you're Powassan. You gave up 2 power plays in that first period, and you defended well, but as the game goes on, those extra minutes defending and not staying on the attack or defending with that 5-on-5 situation is going to wear you down, and a team like the Paper Kings is going to take advantage of that. If you're Espanola, you just got to keep pressing, counterattacking, and clearing your zone. Powassan's found a lot of success on their forecheck, extending that zone time, and Espinola's got to keep it out of their own end if they want any sort of success in the second period.
So they line up in front of the face-off dot, and the second period is not underway because Kupal and Drigo Kupal was almost in the Espanola zone by the time they got kind of hung up and happened behind the referee, so it was the other referee that had to whistle it down, and now they're still going at it, but the puck is now going to be dropped, and there's going to be a penalty right off the draw, as now there's going to be some pushing and shoving after it, as Kupal is getting in with Guthrie was there. Reed the box also there, showing his former team a little bit of love, and Kupal goes off to the box. We know that Peter Goulet, head coach here at the Voodoos, is all about discipline, but it looks like Kupal's going off for roughing, and it looks like Guthrie is also going off. So the question will be, Guthrie, the captain, of course, of this Espanola team, the question will be, are these offsetting or coincidental minors, or are we going to see ourselves with somebody on the power play? So far, only 2 minutes on the board here on the Powassan end. I would assume it's probably Kupal going off for the original minor, and then him and Guthrie probably sharing minors as well.
Yeah, we may see another section of 4-on-4 here, as it looks like Roussel's heading off, and there's 4 Voodoos on the ice.
Yeah, I do think that the suspicion was correct. I think it looks, so just 2 minutes on the board now.
Yeah, and there is 5 Paper Kings, so forget what I said about staying out of the box, as we're 3 seconds into the period, and the Paper Kings are immediately on the man advantage.
Well, not a shock when you saw of course, the whistle go down. You can only imagine what was happening between Kupal and Drigo there, but either way, Kupal goes off to the box. Not a way you want to start, but we'll see if the Paper Kings power play can move in the right direction, where it was not able to be as effective as they wanted it to be in the first period. Voodoos have already killed off 30 seconds off this power play, as the box was not able to get into the Powassan end. That puck goes over the very low glass and off the netting and out of play. So this is the official call as Game Center has been updated here. So Graydon Guthrie going off for 2 minutes for roughing. Benjamin Kapal is going off for 2 minutes for roughing, which offset each other. And then the slash is the original call on Drigo. So that is the official ruling there as the puck in the neutral zone. Now Espanola trying to get it into the slot area, trying to get into some of these high danger areas. Make Champagne sweat a little bit. Here's the box. He sends it over to the other side to Smith. Now a shot comes in and Champagne gets it right into his body, and he'll hang on for a whistle here. A minute 2 left on the power play.
When Espanola was most effective during their power plays in the first period, it was shooting through traffic, getting that point shot off, and causing chaos in front of the net. Nothing went in, but those were their most threatening-looking chances. They've got to set up quickly and get those shots towards the net.
There's a shot right off the draw. Rebound chance. What an opportunity for Emerson DiGiacomo, and he was not able to get a good enough shot as Champagne made the original save. Now the puck is cleared all the way down. Logan Vale will have to leave it there for the box, but Landry is also trying to make things difficult. Him and Owen Head leading the press there. Now there's Miller who shot. He fans on the attempt, and now it's cleared away. 30 seconds left to go. And again, Espanola not able to get their offense set up the way they'd like to in a large majority of this penalty. Now it's dumped in, and they chase after it as Zachary Gron, and he was not able to get the pass away, but Espanola still with possession. Wrapping it around the net. Gron looks to come out, and now Kratz takes the net way off, and him and Levi Lux getting into a bit of a pushing match as the whistle goes and the stoppage of play happens.
It's where you see the net in that position except for when the ice is being flooded, so it may take a minute to reset here, but the Voodoos doing an excellent job at killing. Again, Russo being a nuisance along the board, just killing time, dumping in effectively the entire team. It just getting the puck out of the zone as soon as it crosses the blue line. Aside from a couple of quick looks, Espanola really hasn't been able to generate any time in the offensive zone.
It does seem the referees are going to have a bit of a difficult time tonight, or it's going to be very important for them to be able to keep this game from getting out of hand from a physical standpoint. Power play is over, back to 5-on-5. When you look at some of the penalties that have already happened, some of the physicality, you don't want it to get out of order as it goes down for icing, as Bonsignor is not able to get a stick on it. And so the referees will have to keep a handle on the emotions of this game and keep them in check.
Well, when you're dealing with the most penalized team in the league in the Espanola Paper Kings, sitting at 524 penalty minutes, you are bound to be sending a couple of guys in the box. Powassan sitting in 10th place with 331, 10th out of 11. They have the second least, as the Sioux Thunderbirds have 297 on the year.
That puck comes all the way to this neutral zone. There's no icing. It was waved away. Going in was Jesse Lefebvre trying to win that race, but he doesn't get there. But the Voodoos are able to keep the puck in the Espanola zone. Kept in again by Kratz. Kratz, his shot goes off a stick. There's the puck loose in front. Couldn't get a shot away. Kratz keeps it in. Still kept in by Powassan. Kratz looks over for Anthony Boyes. Top of the circle. Boyes trying to make a move around his man, but Makasoff was right over him. Here's Kratz now coming in. Kratz firing. It goes off a stick of Makasoff and out of play for a whistle. And now there's more pushing and shoving after the whistle.
Just really effective puck movement from the Voodoos as soon as they get set up in the zone. They dance around the blue line. They're careful to look for their spot, and then the seas sort of part for Kratz there as he finds that space, drives the net. We've seen that time and time again from Kratz, is if there's extra space, if he can find it, he's going to take it. And again, another good example from Marcus there on that previous play.
Now a chance right off the draws. It was Caleb Dawson there who stole the puck on the near side of the net, almost put it in. Voodoos again threatening here, looking for their third of the game. Espanola trying to quell the storm here as they're just trying to get their first of the game, and they haven't found an answer for Champaign so far. And we've only played 24 minutes of hockey, and it's felt a lot more than that. It's going to be an exciting last 36 minutes as puck's still fighting between the two teams, still in the Espanola zone. Neither team can cleanly get it to a good spot. Now another penalty coming up here to the Voodoos, as it looks like it's going to be Marnell going off there as he clips. It looked like Zachary Grawn, and we'll wait for the official call here. It's going to be a 4-minute for kneeing is going to be the official call, so it could be a costly one here for the Voodoos and more disciplinary issues, which is a little surprising because usually the Voodoos are pretty good at calming things down, especially going into a break, knowing Peter Goulet's style. And speaking of that style, he calls a timeout here to try to get his team back in it. But now Harrison, a double minor for kneeing. It's going, and Kupal is still in the bench, is still in the penalty box, by the way. Not sure if he got some sort of misconduct as well. Nothing that shows up here, but it'll be interesting, I think, to see how Espanola handles this.
I mean, Espanola has been given chance after chance. Unforced errors by the Voodoos. You're not in a battle there. You're not going after the puck. It's just an unforced knee. And now you have 4 minutes to kill off. The Voodoos have been killing well, but again, this tires you out. This keeps you from going on offense. This keeps you from sort of playing the game that you want to be playing and puts all the control into Espanola. It's only a 2-goal game at this point with a double minor up on the board. Espanola's had their looks. Now they need to execute on the plan that they know that they can.
It's good. We'll have to keep an eye on Kupal and see if he, just because they don't show if there's misconducts in game center, so we'll have to keep an eye on that to see when he's finally allowed out of that penalty box. But a 4-minute, a double minor there for kneeing for Jackson Marnell gives Espanola 4 minutes of power play time, unless they find themselves in the box at some point, to try to cut the lead and even tie it. But you need to start climbing the mountain before you get there. And now here's a shorthanded opportunity. An opportunity for the Voodoos. Coming in, the shot going 5-hole, stopped by Vale. What an opportunity there. Coming off the stick of Heath Bradley, looking for his second of the game. He tried to go 5-hole. Logan Vale closed that option. And then Bradley, looking to pick up his rebound, was not able to get another good shot on. But what a chance for the Voodoos to turn a bad situation good and take a 3-0 lead, but it remains 2-0 in Espanola now. Joseph Coates, a man who is leading this team with 18 goals, hasn't touched the puck too much for number 91, but he's looking to get his team going here on this double minor man advantage. Here's Guthrie, the captain, sends it in. Champaign, a little too hard with the clearing as it goes all the way into the netting and out of play for a whistle.
Well, as our friend and usual play-by-play commentator Courtney Kenny likes to say, we have all the time in the world for Heath Bradley, and he's been all over the ice tonight, getting that goal earlier on. He's been reading the play very effectively and just makes himself available for that breakaway. He makes a good move but gets shut down quickly, and just like that, 1 out of 4 minutes is killed on this double minor.
Still 3 minutes to go, but a quarter of the way through this period. Just under 5 minutes played. Espanola in the second period, a lot of things can change. It's a very interesting period when it comes to how the game can really change from that first to that third. And you'd like to get to that third period with a nice healthy lead if you're the Voodoos, but if you're Espanola, it's just how do you first get one by Champaign and then tie things up and potentially take a lead. If you're the Voodoos, it's how do you get another one by and keep the 0 on the scoreboard underneath the guests part of the scoreboard. Bringing it up here is Brownlee. Carter Brownlee all the way through. He was looking to find Lux, who would have been all alone on the far side circle, but it wasn't able to cleanly find him. A big hit in the corner there by Lux as he takes down Landry. Or check that was Russo. As it will be the other way, Brownlee again. Brownlee again skips by a man. That one was Caleb Dawson, and he banks it off the boards around the other way, but it's going to be not cleared out in time, but Miller's attempt ends up actually going out of play past the netting, actually ends up squeezing through to actually go out of play with a $1:38 now. So the first minor has been killed off, and 1:38 still left. And so far, Espanola hasn't really shown any danger here on this in the last 2.5 minutes.
The communication, the chemistry, it just looks so disjointed on this man advantage for Espanola. They get into the zone, they rim it around the boards, and then the play dies.
Smith's shot. Coates got a stick on it, but it ends up going into the pads of Champaign. Now trying to clear it out. There's a whole bunch of players on the far side, but Landry was able to power it out, and now it's cleared aside all the way out. Vale will have to play it. And you can't even really say that this is a trade deadline issue because all the players out there are normal Espanola players. It just doesn't seem to be their night tonight here in Powassan. There's the former Espanola player Gray, who has 6 goals, quite a bit for a defenseman. And now here's Smith. Smith, shot from the top of the circle. Champaign kicks it aside. With Vrugden Hill, his second, well, the goalie he shares the crease with the most here in Powassan, as you mentioned, with the battalion right now with McIver out. He's getting an opportunity to shine, and he has done so far. Josh Saucier, the U16 trapper, is the man who's backing up Champaign here tonight. And you'd imagine, barring an injury, would not find any time between the pipes, and with the way Champagne's playing, it wouldn't matter anyways. Here's Makasoff, his shot. Champaign, another save, as Espanola now in the dying seconds of this double minor are looking to put one by. There's another shot in Champaign. Looks like he flashed the leather just in time. The pass out into the slot area, stopped by Smith. Now another opportunity, looking out in front, looking for the stick of Wyatt Ferris. But he wasn't able to handle it, or else it would have been a wide open net. The double minor is over, back on the ice. Our 5 Voodoo players, including Marnell, the man who had the penalty to begin with. And after that 4-minute man advantage, it's still 2-0 Powassan here with 12:06 to go in the second period. Dawson was able to keep that from being icing. Now Powassan maybe looking for Spencer for that lead pass. It ends up going off of the roof of this, the low roof of this Sportsplex, and more pushing and shoving this time between Spencer and Kratz.
I have one question for the Espanola Paper Kings. Where was that last 30 seconds of the power play in the previous 3 minutes and 30 seconds? That's exactly what they need to be doing. They were cycling the puck around the zone, getting shots in, retrieving, and making Derek Champaign sweat. Outside of like a couple fantastic saves, Espanola should have a goal. They just started firing and finding a lot of quality chances. Derek Champaign looking fantastic tonight.
Another opportunity for the Voodoo. Shot goes just wide. Off the draw, Kratz was able to find Roussel, who was denied a goal earlier in this game thanks to a goaltender interference call. Gallant just sends it into the far corner. Now an opportunity for Landry. Landry comes through, shoots, and it goes wide, blocker side on Vale. Behind the net, Landry with it again. Landry gets it over there to Barkley. Up now in the near side, out in front, into the slot area. Nobody could find it, and now a chance to go off for the races is Spencer, but coming back is Roussel, but he finds the open man. There's a shot, and they score! Espanola finally finds the back of the net, and it's Jason Gallant who puts it in as Roussel went all in to take out Spencer, left Gallant wide open, who ends up going 5-hole on Champaign and cuts the lead to 1.
And just the rushing chance for the Paper Kings. They recognize it immediately, and just a beautiful shot. Picks his spot, beats Derek Champaign, and it's now a 1-goal game.
And I wonder if Dylan Roussel will look at that and go, maybe I should have played it a little bit safer there, as again, he went full body on Spencer, and maybe that's the emotion again. Spencer, one of those guys who just was in a little bit of an altercation with Kratz. Maybe that plays into a little bit, but either way, Gallant was wide open on the other side, and the Voodoos do not get away with it. So now the Voodoos are going to look to try to get their 2-goal lead back, and there's a shot coming off the stick there of Kupal, who's finally out of the penalty box. This is going to come down, no icing here. And now the energy is high, but a penalty is going to stop that, as a charging call is going to come, not one you see too often. It's going to be the former Voodoo, Reed DeBox, who goes off, and he exchanges words with Bradley. So his return here to the Sportsplex, although he never really left since he was traded kind of well in the transition of the games, but DeBox goes to the box.
One we've heard many times here.
For charging, and now the Voodoos have a power play opportunity.
And the Voodoos finally finding themselves on the other side of the man advantage. They need to get established quickly and get firing on net.
Opportunity here as we reach the halfway mark of this second period. Though I think for some of the people in this building, it feels like they maybe have played about like 40 minutes at this point in just this period alone, as it has been very high firing. The puck here is in the near side. It is in a scrum of players, and it finally gets whistled down by the referee. But Espanola does kill off a couple of precious seconds here. The one thing that you always love about the Sportsplex, no idea how much time is left in the visiting power, in the home power plays, because the Zamboni stanchions cover.
There's a minute something left on this power play.
And I didn't look at math to see what time was left on the board. But here's a short-handed opportunity here. Coming in, a shot comes up high, and now hard into the boards goes Owen Smith. And the Espanola was looking for a penalty. They're going to get it. It was actually the trailing referee who picked it up, not the referee who was in the zone. And there goes the Powassan power play, as it will be Caleb Dawson going off for a, I want to say that was a hit from behind, I believe is what they called it.
Hit for behind, boarding, something of that.
Something of that nature. Yeah, maybe boarding was the more apt description of it, but Owen Smith did go hard into that board. And either way, that was a very short, sweet power play for the Voodoos, and it kind of goes from bad to worse because they just give up a goal. You get a man advantage, and it's now gone.
Discipline issues abound here tonight. And the first period, we had a couple of power plays. We had a usual amount of the hockey game, and then it feels like the majority of this second period, with 10 minutes and 3 seconds remaining, has been played on some sort of special teams unit. So 4-on-4, and it looks like a minute 27, I want to say, remaining in the initial penalty that sent the Voodoos to the power play.
Well, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and you never know what time the power play is going to end.
And we never know what's going to happen on 4-on-4 hockey, as there's a lot more open ice. We saw the Voodoos with a couple solid opportunities earlier in this game on the first 4-on-4 sequence. Shots 18-18 for those keeping track at home.
For those keeping track here, I don't know how accurate those are.
I'm never going to escape that.
So 10:03 left to go here in the second period. But as you mentioned, 4-on-4 now following the penalty. Caleb Dawson is a minor plus game misconduct for checking from behind is the official call. It's Pavel Barclay who's going to be serving that penalty. So Caleb Dawson, number 10 in white, has seen his last minutes of hockey here this evening. Though you could tell there was a bit of a conversation there between the referee and the Voodoos bench. Looked like a too happy of a conversation on the Voodoos end. And they lose one of their best forwards for the rest of this game. And it's only a one-goal game, so the Voodoos would have loved to have that third goal. And you go back to that Roussel goal that was disallowed because of goaltender interference, and would have loved to have that one back. But 4-on-4, they have a chance to do it, and here's Roussel himself. Gets it into the near corner, 4-on-4 chance. Right in front, there's a shot. What a save from Logan Vale. Couldn't quite get the puck up with Roussel, who's really looking to get his goal that was disallowed. As we go to the mid-period break, we will take a quick break here, but when we come back, don't go anywhere because this has been an exciting game. It is 2-1 Voodoos with still about half the period to play. So there's 9:04 left to go in this period. It's 2-1 Powassan. And with the shots 19-18 in favor of the home side, and we're 4-on-4, Harrison, it's going to be, again, that next 9 minutes, it's going to be electric.
It's been one heck of a game here so far. Lots of back and forth action. Not a lot of 5-on-5 hockey here so far in the second period as we continue at this 4-on-4 in the Espanola end.
Shot right off the draw, right into the glove of Vale, coming off Ben Jassoni's stick, and they'll retake the draw from the same spot to the right of the Espanola netminder. Under a minute to go in the not even a man advantage, the 4-on-4. It'll be a very slight power play here for Espanola, though. They already had a double minor in this period, 4 minutes worth, that they were not able to really get anything going into the last 30 seconds and still couldn't beat Champaign. It wasn't until after that they were finally able to break free and break the shutout from Champaign to make it 2-1. Here's Guthrie. Guthrie now coming through. The captain looking to tie things up. Sends it over. There's a shot. Puck's loose right in the slot area. Still loose. It's still loose. Guthrie now can't get a shot away. Back to the point. To Box, who just came out of the penalty box. And now an opportunity maybe for the Voodoos, as going flying in was Russo, and now slow to get up on the ice. I believe that's Guthrie, who's trying to hobble off the ice here. Play is still going on as he finally gets to the bench. Puck in the Voodoos' end. They're able to clear it. Espanola finally able to get 5 men on the ice. All the penalties have now cleared, by the way. So we're back to 5-on-5. And the whistle goes, for icing with 7:52 to go.
Well, tell me if you've heard this one before, Ben. Derek Champagne stopping a flurry of chances in his crease on the power play. He's been all over the place and keeping his team in this.
Voodoos players Jesse LeFay, happy birthday on January 5th. Jackson Cullen and Vitaly Yasinov had birthdays yesterday. And also
About a couple of birthdays for the Voodoos here, including Jackson Cullen, the former Trapper captain. Jesse LeFay, another man who's celebrating a birthday the last couple of days. And, of course, to our cameraman Mike Brown, who's every day is his birthday, as the puck comes in and Roussel's shot goes into the glove of Vale for a whistle. Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday.
As always, making us work on his birthday, not a nice guy.
He's so dedicated, though.
And he never brings us cake either.
Never. But not a good save from Vale. A little bit of an awkward shot heading his way as it sort of knuckleballed towards his net. A little bit of a change up off of the stick. But still as close a game as ever. 21-20 the shots, 2-1 scoreline, 7:34 remaining in this period.
Face-off won by Powassan. Shot comes in and Vale sends it behind his net. There's one that goes to the moon, apparently, as Farver, his clearing attempt ends up going about halfway across up the netting. I really don't know if that would have been in any rink if that would have hit the glass, but either way, it takes the face-off to the left of Vale, and boys will line up against De Giacomo. It'll be one nearby De Giacomo. Puck in the neutral zone, in possession of the Paper Kings, and now they gain the zone. De Giacomo not able to get by. Good stick there by Bagley. Now here come the Voodoos. The other way, shot comes in chest wide, as it was Anthony Boyes trying to make it 3-1. Boyes still with the puck. He's got a couple of men trying to take the puck off him. Now the puck comes loose into a De Giacomo stick, and he brings it up across the red line. Now he'll send it into the opposite corner. It's picked up by Marnell. And the pass attempt into the neutral zone is picked up by Farver. And Espanola just sends it back into Powassan territory. Puck comes loose. Now an opportunity for Espanola. Trying to get something going here. A couple players on the ice. There's a shot by Brownlee, and Champaign made that look a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, and that'll be a high stick from Coates. And now Coates is getting into it with Braden Bagley as they exchange some words, and the puck will come out of the zone for the next draw.
Don't think Derek Champagne quite saw all of that puck as he kind of had to stretch out, make what looked like a very difficult save to keep this a one-goal game. 6:18 as time trickles down in the second period.
Coates squares off against Owen Head outside of the Voodoos zone here. And now Owen Head gets thrown out of the faceoff dot as Ryan Saginaw takes over. So Saginaw versus Coates. It's won by Coates. And dumped in by Shaw. William Shaw gets it into the Voodoos zone, but Voodoos have possession. Roussel off the boards. Now trying to break through into the neutral zone. Brownlee, the lone man back. Saginaw is also with him. There's a shot, comes in. Vale to save. That was Owen Head who led the charge. Decided to shoot instead of trying to get it over to Saginaw, and Vale made the stop. Still with possession. Here's Kratz behind the net looking for the wraparound, and he hits it off the outside of the post. And then it's sent all the way down. It's going to be a foot race there and a quick whistle as Roussel was going up against Carter Drigo. And that will be an icing call against the Paper Kicks.
I feel like every 2-on-1 we've seen from the Voodoos, the puck handlers elected to shoot, and that looked like a prime passing opportunity to me. But on the flip side, the Voodoos are generating those odd man rushes consistently. They just need to keep up that pressure on transition.
So we are setting ourselves up for what should be an epic finale here. 25 minutes of hockey left to play between the two, well, the period and a quarter that's left in regulation at least. 2-1. The Voodoos have yet to find the back of the net here in this period. They've had a couple of opportunities, but maybe not as many as they'd like. They found themselves in the penalty box quite a bit, but then so has Espanola. Espanola, on the other hand, were finally able to break the shutout of Champagne thanks to Jason Gallant. But the Voodoos have been threatening at times, and this is one of those times with pressure here in the offensive zone. Looking out in front, there's a shot from Kupal, and it's blockered away by Vale. Kupal again with it, near the dot, top of the dot, shot goes high and wide, ends up going all the way out of play with 4:51 left.
It looked like that one kind of beat Vale and went high off the crossbar as Vale turns back and gives his crossbar a little tap of appreciation for keeping this still a one-goal game. Voodoos chasing down the puck really well, just keeping up that pressure, and again find themselves with another offensive zone face-off.
And another puck that goes quickly out of play into the meshing here under the low glass of the Sportsplex.
Now, it's not a stat that's officially tracked in the NOJHL, but the Voodoos have done a fantastic job of winning their offensive zone draws. It feels like they've come away with control a majority of the time. They've been doing a really good job of just setting up and getting a quick shot.
So maybe the storyline of this period outside of the Espanola goal from Gallant is probably Caleb Dawson getting sent off for a 2-minute minor for checking from behind plus a game misconduct. So you won't see number 10 in white anymore for the remainder of this game. That happened around the midway mark of this period. Dawson, of course, has been a big part of the team this season. Had a bit of a down year last year after his breakout sophomore season, but has found himself with a pretty good amount, 15 goals and 15 assists in 30 games played, so he's a point-per-game player. Here's Lefebvre, bursts of speed down the side. He gets hit but keeps the puck. Down to Boys. Boys looking out in front for Bonsignor. Shot from Lefebvre. The puck is loose. Vale will hang on. And now Lefebvre is going to get into the face there of Levi Lux. And it's eventually going to be whistled down as tempers continue to flare as they have been since the near end of the first period.
A quick wraparound chance and then countering the flow of traffic, another wraparound the other way. And a couple of quick chances for the Voodoos up close.
So both teams are going to be facing French River in their next games as Espanola coming back home, taking the short drive down the Highway 17 corridor to play against the French River Rapids tomorrow night. The Voodoos are going to have a bit of a break as they remain at home and they see the Rapids come here to Powassan on Tuesday for a 7 o'clock game. Big hit in the neutral zone. Opportunity now for Espanola, and it's going to be offside, is going to stop that attempt. And putting his head up there was Warren Farver, as couldn't believe that the puck ended up getting blown down.
They found a lot of space up high in the Powassan zone, and a solid rushing chance there for the Espanola Paper Kings.
This off one by Espanola, they dump it in. There's 3:45 to go in the second period. Espanola looking for the equalizer. The Voodoos looking to take a lead into the third period. Farver at the blue line, dumps it in and ends up going wide of Champagne's net. 25-21 shots in favor of the Voodoos. In the neutral zone, here's Roussel. He has been flirting with goals. In fact, he had a goal earlier in this game that was disallowed, and he has been flirting with that goal ever since. Roussel again. We've seen him pinch a number of times. Saginaw's going to jump in off that, looking to get by Ferris, and the puck ends up sliding harmlessly to Vale, who will hold on for a whistle in the Espanola zone.
It's been a string of 10, 15-second bursts here in the final 5 minutes of this period. Just zone entries, face-offs, quick shots, deflections. No real sustained pressure from either team here in the last 10.
Face-off here is, I don't know who you could say won that face-off. Both teams were going at it. Both teams now have it in the near side boards, and it finally comes loose to Espanola, so I guess they won the face-off at the end of the day eventually. Puck behind their net. But it comes loose here for Kupal. Gets it back to the point. Gray gets it over to Kupal. Back, wraps it around the net. Looking there for Bradley, looking for Lefebvre. Kupal wraps it around again. In front of Lefebvre, his shot is blocked. A big block from Shaw, as William Shaw keeps that puck from finding the net. A great chance in the slot area in the dying embers of this second period. Now a puck out in front. There's a shot. It gets blocked. A big block by Gray, the former Paper King. And his maiden appearance here for the Voodoos. And now to Box and Bradley getting into it in the Espanola zone, but Miller the other way. Here's Miller. Miller, top of the circle shot. It goes off of Gray's stick, goes off of the boxes at the top, out of play, and still going at it is Bradley into Box. And there, I don't know if that's something that maybe you get it. You join a new team and you're fighting for them, and now usually you don't see that too much. When usually you see the friends on the other side, but Reed the Box is having his say here tonight. We've seen him be in the penalty box already, and then a couple of strums here. He's no love lost, I guess, between him and the Voodoo players so far.
Maybe friends on and off, but friends off the ice around the periods, but on the ice you're fighting for your team, and in a game as close as this, the emotions are certainly high.
Face off there in possession of the Voodoos. That was Lefebvre who ended up beating Joseph Coates, who is the high-scoring player here for Espanola with 18 goals. He leads the team, but has not been able to find a lot of opportunities for number 91 in blue to make his mark on this game. A minute 52 left to go. 2-1, 25-21 the shots. A little asterisks beside it, depending on how accurate they are, according to Harrison. I think they're accurate. I'm just saying, like, human error is a thing. I'm just saying.
You were saying a lot of things tonight, Ben.
I am. That is my job.
That is true.
Face off, won by the Voodoos right off the draw, and the shot goes right into the glove of Vale, coming off of Lefebvre's stick, as Jesse Lefebvre looking to make his mark on the game. So far, when you look at the goal scorers, Heath Bradley, Pavel Barkley back in the first period, and then Jason Gallant, the lone one for Espanola. And that is where we stand as we get near the end of the second period. Still time, though, with about 90 seconds left for either the Voodoos to extend their lead or for Espanola to go into that third period tied, as the puck ends up going out of play for a whistle right at the Voodoos' end.
Just a clearing attempt. But Vales had to stay sharp off of those offensive zone draws as the Voodoos have taken 3 or 4 really quick shots directly off of the face-off win. And Vales had that glove ready each and every time.
Big face-off incoming. Anthony Boys versus Joseph Coates. Face-off won by Espanola. Coates with it. Coates looking out in front, and puck ends up going off the side of the net. Now there's a big hit, as it is Braden Bagley sending his man to the ice. A big open ice hit. It's going to be an icing call on the other side, but Bagley throwing his body around. And Espanola learns what it's like to be on the opposite, or the receiving end of that body. And that Bagley, of course, a big man, number 20 in white.
Both teams throwing the weight around a lot tonight.
Owen Smith able to get that puck. Here's Lux. Puck on the near side. Farver not able to keep it in. It goes out into the neutral zone. 60 seconds left. Lefebvre, can he get onside? He does. Boys able to get back on the line, but that attempt doesn't go anywhere as Espanola stops it, and now they can transition. Lux looking for a man in front. Great opportunity right there. Couldn't get a shot away. Was DiGiacomo. If he was able to cleanly get a backhand away, he would have had a wide open net. And then now Jesse Lefebvre brings it the other way for the Voodoos. Lefebvre stops up. He gets it into the corner. They're just trying to kill off some time, maybe get one last offensive chance. Boy's shot comes in. Vale stops. Puck comes loose. But Farver's making things difficult there as he holds up Bonsignore. And now a penalty is indeed going to come, as now more jawing happening here as Makasov is getting into it with Lefebvre. Lefebvre goes off to the bench. A high stick is coming up to Espanola. It's going to be... Question is, who's going to be the one going into the box? We're not sure yet.
Well, it's not the first time that we've seen a Voodoos player tangled up in the blue paint.
It is Carter Makasov going off. That'll be the second time he's found himself in the penalty box for high sticking. He found himself actually at the 16:43 mark of the first period off for a 2-minute minor. So the Voodoos, with 22.9 to go, will have a quick man advantage that will most likely bleed into the third period, unless in the dying seconds of this period they can make it 3-1 heading into the intermission. And the faceoff is won. It comes back to the Voodoos. Kratz with it. Keeps it alive. Boys. To the near side, Rousseau. Kratz. He's got 9 seconds to work with. Lefebvre. Down, looking in the slot area. There's a shot. Vale, a big save. It's cleared away, and that will do it. One last chance for the Voodoos, but they do not find the back of the net here in the second period. It is only the Espanola Paper Kings who cut the lead into 1. Jason Gallant, his 4th of the year, on a breakaway opportunity, goes 5-hole on Champagne at the 8:54 mark. And it has been an exciting game so far, Harrison, but it's still the Voodoos leading 2-1. And as we go into this final period, what do you think is going to be the key here for Espanola to try to get back into this game and for the Voodoos to try to hold on to this lead?
I mean, I said at the top of the second period, and I didn't expect, well, I maybe should have expected the opposite to be true. Discipline, or rather lack thereof, as we have seen 5 power plays for the Espanola Paper Kings, and now the Voodoos going on the man advantage of their own. Just taking advantage of the advantages will be key, because nobody has scored on the power play despite the numerous chances for both teams. So taking advantage where they're given to you will be key heading into the final frame.
Discipline's going to be a big topic of conversation for both teams in the break, as 7 penalties between these two teams, including Caleb Dawson, who had that 2-minute for check from behind, and a 10-minute game misconduct, or I should say not a 10-minute, but just a game misconduct as well on top of that. So as we head into the break, it's 2-1 Voodoos with 20 minutes of regulation left. Can Espanola tie things up or take the lead? Or will the Voodoos hang on for a big 2 points here at home to start 2026? We will get those answers on the other side of this break. You are watching the NOJHL Voodoos Hockey here on Flow Hockey and the Frontline YouTube channel, brought to you by Average Joe's. And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex here as the Espanola Paper Kings find themselves trailing 2-1 to the Powassan Voodoos here live on Flow Hockey or listening on the Frontline YouTube channel. Of course, this edition of the NOJHL is brought to you by Average Joe's. As I'm Ben Sargent, alongside with me, Harrison Clements. And Harrison, before we get to your thoughts, let's take you around the league. As we said, it's 2-1 here in the Voodoos. Down the Highway 17 corridor in French River, the Rapids are hosting the Cubs, and they are also going into the third period with the Cubs leading 6-3. Down Highway 11 North, Timmins is hosting Kirkland Lake. They are about halfway through the second period with Timmins leading the Gold Miners 4-3. And then out in the west, down to our neighbors to the south and west is, well, not really the south, more just the west, is the Sioux Michigan Eagles. They lead Blind River 2-1 at the midpoint of the second period as well. We will give you one last update on those games as we reach the climax of this game, though we do have 20 minutes to go in a 2-1 game. And Harrison, we've seen a lot of ill discipline for both teams. We've seen a lot of opportunities. Give me your prediction going into this third period. What do you think we're going to be sitting here at the buzzer looking at?
12 penalties.
Well, probably.
So far there's been 5 power plays for the Espanola Paper Kings and 3 for the Powassan Voodoos. The Voodoos are currently sitting with a minute, I think 37 remaining in a power play that was given at the very end of the second period. No team has converted on their special teams. That includes a 4-minute double minor that the Espanola Paper Kings had the man advantage on and were unable to convert on. Goals tonight to Heath Bradley, Pavel Barclay, and to Jason Gallant, who took advantage of a 2-on-1, went in on a breakaway, and was able to finally beat Derek Champagne. Shots 28-22, or so we think.
And we're back underway as Owen Smith beats Ryan Sagan on the faceoff draw as Espanola gets possession right away, and they send it down into the area of Derek Champagne, who picks it up. As you mentioned, it is the Voodoos' man advantage here on the early parts. They're going to look to try to extend their lead early, and here's Parker Bonsignor looking in front. He goes all the way through the blue paint and doesn't find anyone, and then he finds himself running into the referee. Puck pops out there for Barkley, and now it comes all the way out into the neutral zone. Be picked up by Bagley to Saginaw. Barkley puts it into the zone. Farber trying to get it out. Wasn't able to do so. Voodoos almost had the puck back. And now Gallant was almost out to the races, but he couldn't quite corral it. Gallant all alone. His shot ends up going off Bagley and well wide, but Farber picks it up on the far side. Farber now trying to get it in front. There's a shorthanded shot that goes up over the net off the glass. And now the puck gets caught in the netting of the net, and it will be whistled down with under a minute left in this penalty to Makasoff, his second high-sticking penalty that he has taken in this game. The other one happened in the first period with about 4 minutes left.
And a good counterattack from the Espanola Paper Kings as they almost had a short-handed breakaway of their own. As Gallant received the puck up center ice, but it was just too hot to handle.
Now the other way, here's the Voodoos, a chance, there's a shot right into Vale. Vale makes the save. His own player runs into him, but he'll hold on as Jesse Lefebvre, of course, right in the mix of things as Gallant is also there pushing and shoving, as this game has definitely seen the heat of this near proximity rivalry between these two teams that play each other quite a bit, and they played each other a lot during those COVID years, back when there were divisions, and it was pretty much Sudbury, French River, and Espanola kind of back to back to back to back. A little bit of Kirkland Lake in there, but
they certainly saw a lot of each other in those years. It's a bit more evenly spread now.
Yeah, ever since last year when they got rid of the divisions and they made it just one giant standing, which made things very interesting because you had a pretty weak East Division versus a very strong West Division, and now that's no longer a thing, though. Teams do tend to play teams that are a little bit closer to them because of travel, but here's Roussel. Power play now over, back to 5-on-5. Fighting down low, there's Brownlee. Brownlee trying to get the puck clear, but he's not able to. Boyce keeps it in. Kratz at the blue line. Kratz sends it in, looking for Lefebvre. Or Rousseau, I should say. Rousseau puck is still loose. Now it comes out over the head of Kratz. Kratz, who was named the December Defenseman of the Month in the NOJHL. Also, congratulations to him again. We said this off the top of the show, but he has committed to Concordia University of Wisconsin, NCAA Division III school, for some hockey, as that was confirmed on Tuesday. So it's always a great path to see these players do it. Of course, it used to be the path that a lot of potential OHL players would do, but now the OHL players are able to play in the NCAA. You see a little bit less than that. Thought it might potentially hurt some of the higher-end NOJHL players, but that goes into the body of Vail, but it hasn't seemed to hurt the league at all as much as you might think it would.
Well, it's more of a shifting of pathways than anything else at this point. The main exoduses you've seen have been from the OHL to this point, but there's still lots of solid opportunity across all different sorts of development paths through Ontario Canadian hockey.
Rousseau wins the faceoff. There's a draw. That one off the post. What an opportunity there for Jackson Marnell, who found the daylight. It looked like it was going to squeak by the blocker arm of Vail, and it ended up hitting the only other thing it could, which was the post. Now back in front, Rousseau wasn't able to get a shot away. That would have been one of the goals of the season, I think, really, when you think about the amount of daylight that you could see. It was very little, pretty much a puck width between Vail's arm and the post, and it just missed. Now here's Owen Smith for Espanola. Smith trying to wrap it around. He gets the wraparound through, but Champagne gets there, and now bodies fly to the side of Champagne, who's holding his arm as he might have gotten a stick into the glove.
A lot of bustle and fuss around the net fronts tonight.
I don't think these teams like each other.
I don't think so, Ben. I'm not great at reading people, but I'm okay at reading hockey games, and I'm gathering that may be the case here tonight, as there's been a lot of physical play between the whistles, both while play's happening and afterwards.
Referee's happy with that there was no foul play there. So no penalties given from that last scrum as we stay 5-on-5 with 16 and a half minutes to go. And now here's a chance, Boyce, and if Boyce got that perfectly, he would have been off to the races, and you could see his head go up as he just got it off the heel of his stick, and Vail comes all the way out of his net. Again, no trapezoid here. You can play the puck pretty much anywhere you want in your own zone. But Boyce was cherry picking and almost had the schoolyard breakaway. And he can't believe it. That pass was on tape to tape. Ooh. What a chance to make it 3-1. Puck at the side of the net. Lefebvre, he hits Smith hard into the net. Into the boards, I should say, as now the puck is caught between a couple of players here on the far side corner. It comes loose. Kratz keeps it in, and it's just poked out of his reach, actually, as it goes all the way down, but it will be an icing call as Lefebvre goes by the Espanola bench. Maybe tempting fate a little bit there to try to make a penalty happen, but
how many stretch passes have we seen that have just been a little bit too quick for the receiver to handle tonight? I'd say it's about 3, but a lot of solid stretch pass opportunities tonight for both these squads, and that may be the second one that Boyce has received. I believe there was one in the first period in a similar fashion.
33-23 the shots on net. Gives you an idea of, number one, there have been a lot of shots, but at one point it was all Voodoos, and then Espanola found their way back up the shots, and then now the Voodoos are trying to get it, though there have been a lot of shots that have not made it to the net quite. The faceoff is won in possession of the Voodoos. And now a chance in front. There's Owen Head. His shot ends up going wide near the glove side. Might have just got a piece of the glove of Vale. It's kept in, though. Looking out in front for Head, but it's intercepted, and now it goes out into the neutral zone. Here's Gray. Gray, the recent pickup, him and Reed DeBox were always meant to play in this game, but they found themselves on the end of a trade, so they're actually on the other side of the ices. Gray was sent to the Voodoos. DeBox was sent to Espanola, and DeBox has found the penalty box quite a couple of times here this evening, as he has been number 12 out there in blue, has put his mark on this game and has said if there's any friendships in this team, it's not going to happen on the ice. There's a shot from the point. Puck comes through, but not able to get all the way to Vale. Probably ended up hitting a body, and nobody could cleanly get a good shot. Comes out into the neutral zone, and Lux will play it in. This will be an icing call, as Lux was on the wrong side of the red line. Of course, we talk about the small surface, ice surface of this arena. Not a lot of neutral zone, and you see a lot of icings here because of that.
You do, because a little chip pass that would normally clear to neutral ice at maybe a standard size rink or the Olympic pad in Greater Sudbury just has enough juice to make it all the way past the goal line.
And there's going to be a penalty now here to the Voodoos. Thought that might be a little harsh, the fans here, but it will be a tripping call that'll come up, and it will be a power play opportunity for Espanola, who will look to take a chance. And it's one of the goal scorers for the Voodoos, Heath Bradley, who's going off for tripping. And now, as we mentioned, Espanola has not found a way on the power play. They've had their opportunities and a chance to tie things up here as the faceoff comes into the zone of the Voodoos.
So with this, I believe we are up to 10 total penalties on the night.
And it's not over yet. Smith wins the draw. Now an opportunity for Espanola. The box right at the draw line. He shoots it into the box of Champagne. Right into the glove as he holds on. But you see Espanola, they're threatening here. And one of the things that they've kind of struggled with on the power plays is, yes, they've been able to maintain zone possession, but as soon as they clear the puck, they find it hard to regain the zone.
Yeah, reloading's been very difficult because Powassan, or a lot of other teams in junior hockey, even at the pro level, you see opt for the drop pass, enter the zone with some speed. Espanola is very content to just try and drive it up the wing.
Here's Landry. Speaking of the wing, he goes up the wing. Now short-handed Landry. He gets put into the boards by DeBox. And now Espanola will try to reload that power play with a minute 30 still to go. A chance, a great chance to tie things. Able to come on side, but Drigo couldn't keep the puck in the zone. Shouts here from the Espanola bench looking for a penalty there, as Drigo thought his jersey was being held. And it's cleared aside again by the Voodoos. Harrison does not think so, as he gives the little, would have been harsh for sure. As now it's cleared out, just barely, as Bagley just had enough on it to get it out of the zone. Miller gets it back in, but then Gray will send it out against his former team, as Ferris has it in the neutral zone. 53 seconds to go. In the man advantage, 13 and a half to go in this hockey game. And if this game has been anything, it has been entertaining, as the puck took a bounce off the back boards, and more pushing and shoving now as it's held on by Champagne. And I know there's no fighting in this league, but if there was a game ever to have a fight, it would probably be, like, if you think back 20 years ago when, I remember when the Skyhawks were in North Bay, and I think that was before the cages happened.
I believe so, yes.
And you would have seen probably a couple of scuffles in this game.
A couple indeed. We have seen some tilts throughout the league, but they are few and far between, especially because of the cages, because of how seriously the league takes such an action.
It's definitely a different time, as puck gets whistled down. Play is dead here, as 35 seconds to go on the period. And I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing, because you go back to the nostalgia of fighting in the NHL, of course, and across junior hockey, but of course we're also smarter when it comes to the effects that it has, and especially when you're young. Though,
well, that's the thing. It's junior hockey.
It is.
It's a lot of the time kids playing hockey.
And I feel like a lot of these kids, too, they're not growing up in that same era of watching that on TV. So it starts to phase out a little bit.
Well, you think of the highlights online. A lot of the time, it's the flashy goal, it's the sweet play, it's the tic-tac-toe that's popping up on your social media feed. Yeah, you still see sometimes, like the other night, Matthew Olivier and Ryan Reeves just dropping it and hucking the gloves, but those are some old-school guys just throwing some mitts.
Yeah, and the game has definitely become more European in that sense where, you know, you look back in the 2000s, it was, as the power play now expires here for Espanola, it was the American way, or the North American way was big, heavy, enforcer style. Now here's a chance. Landry's shot goes high and wide. The European style was skill and grace, which has kind of been now the style of everything, as that will be offside, but it's not touched up by a Paper Kings player. Here's Kratz. Marcus Kratz brings it across the neutral zone. Landry was able to allow the puck to go into the Espanola zone, but Vale quickly gets it back out, and it goes back into the neutral ice. The neutral zone, one both teams have struggled to have a good foothold in. Gaining the zone here are the Voodoos. They're looking for something in the slot area, not able to get a shot away. We've seen a lot of transition from the Voodoos, but haven't seen a lot of good offensive zone time. And now there's a big hit in the corner there, and a penalty coming up, and then a trip is coming up. The question is, because it happens in the near side when we don't have a good look, it looks like Roussel is going to be the man. So back to the power play goes Espanola. And if you're the Voodoos coaching staff, you kind of rolling your eyes a little bit. Another penalty and another power play opportunity for Espanola, and you're just flirting with danger at this point.
It looks like Roussel kind of went in for the check a little bit behind the play, kind of got the leg tangled up, and I believe that's going to be the trip. Now, again, looks like 11 power plays on the night. This will be 8 for Espanola and 3 for Powassan. No one has scored
yet. Makasoff from the point, and almost just to put an exclamation point on your moment. That could have been it, but he wasn't able to find the net. He wasn't able to beat the glove side. Makasoff again. He goes down into the hatch marks, gives it off to Smith. They cycle it through. Smith again stops up in the corner. Smith trying to get around Bagley. He gets the puck out into a good area, but not able to get the shot away. There was Drigo. Puck comes loose again. Still looking for it. Now here's Espanola again. Drigo. Back behind. Looking out in front. Pop shot from the point is blocked. And now maybe a chance here for Justin Russo. He comes up. He's got a man with him. Russo, though, gets his pocket picked. And now it'll be an opportunity the other way. That one's just out of the reach of Owen Smith. Gray with it. Gray not able to stop up the puck. Puck now on the near side in the Voodoo's end. 55 seconds to go in the power play. It's cycled around by Espanola as they gain possession, and now they're not able to, as Coates and Drigo had their wires crossed there. And now a shot from Coates comes in, and it's stopped by Champagne. But yeah, Coates and Drigo both let that puck go past the blue line out of the zone. Coates was able to get a shot away, but if there's somebody that the Paper Kings are going to look to, it's got to be Joseph Coates, who leads this team with 18 goals, and that's really one of his first shots in this hockey game.
Well, we got to talk about some guys that have been just so effective tonight, with Marcus Kratz being the defenseman of the month, and Roussel the rookie of the month for December, and they've certainly been making themselves known tonight here on the ice.
Roussel's had one heck of a game, though he's in the penalty box now, but he had a goal earlier in the game that was waved off because of goaltender interference by his teammate. Looked like it was going to be a 3-0 lead at that point, but now he's found himself in the penalty box. But he's had a couple of chances. He's been pinching, he's been aggressive, but now with 8 seconds he's left in his power play and half the period left to go, he's ready to get out. Now here comes Miller. Looking for somebody. Giacomo comes in. The Giacomo shot is stopped as Miller actually ran into the referee on the other side. Saginaw was not able to corral it. Back to 5-on-5 here. A strong stick there by Landry. Here's Landry. Landry, he's got Saginaw with him. Now over to Saginaw. His shot goes high and wide. Blocker side. Landry still keeping it in. Strong play. Owen Head with it. Owen Head looking for somebody. He leaves it off for Saginaw. And now the play's going to be whistled down. Another penalty coming here to the Voodoos. A slashing call. This time it's going to Owen Head as there's a broken stick on the ice. And that's now 3 back-to-back penalties the Voodoos have taken. And Espanola, who's 0 for 2 already in this period, the last now 6 minutes of play will all be power play opportunities here for Espanola. We're 9:15 to go. So that run from, let me do math here, the 14-minute mark to the 7-minute mark, something like that, the 13-minute mark to the 7-minute mark will all be on power plays unless Espanola finds the back of the net.
And it's just been special teams, special teams, special teams, and we are up to that 12 penalties in the game point.
We knew he would get there, as that's frustrating. You can see Owen Head, too, on the way to the penalty box was not happy. Espanola, on the other hand, you have to give credit to them. They've done a good job of staying out of the box. There have been a couple of times in this game where we've seen 4-on-4 action because of both teams, a team taking a penalty while they're on the power play. But now another chance. Here's Coates. Coates shoots in. Champagne makes the stop and goes off the glass. Big bounce. Goes back to Ferris. Now down in a good spot, looking to put it into the slot area. Back to Ferris. Ferris shot from the point. It goes through, but off the backboards as it misses its mark. There's Smith. Back to Ferris. Back to Smith at the dot. His shot's blocked by Bagley. Half of this penalty now over, and the puck ends up finally going off Carter Drigo, and again out of the zone. That's Drigo's second time he's let the puck escape. And that's going to kill off some precious time here, not just in the power play, but also this game. Again, 6 minutes. If this penalty expires, that Espanola has had 5-on-4 time, and they've not found the back of the net with 8 minutes to go in this hockey game. Puck in the near corner, comes back to Reed DeBox. DeBox shoots! Champagne the save, it goes into the corner. Back to DeBox again, tries to get it down to Coates, but it jumps past his stick. Lefebvre now in the corner. Couple of players in the corner trying to kill off time. It's finally whistled down by the referee with 20 seconds left. Now an Owen Head slashing penalty. 7:34 to go in the game unless Espanola can force overtime with a goal here. It's 2-1 Voodoos, and the crazy thing is the Voodoos scored 2 goals in the mid-mark of that first period, and they haven't found the back of the net since, and you've got to give a lot of credit to Vale.
Vale's been playing a very solid game, just facing the shots that he has, 35 so far tonight.
Logan Vale comes in with a strong record, and he looks, and there's a tip shot that goes wide. What an opportunity there for Mrazek. Puck now comes all the way out. No icing, of course, being on the penalty kill. So it's cleared with just seconds left to go. Owen Head itching to get out, and now he's back on the ice. Back to 5-on-5, though, for how long? We won't know, as that dumping attempt goes out of play off the stick of Champagne, and we are headed to our mid-period break. 2-1 Voodoos. Don't go anywhere because there's 7 minutes or so to go, and this game has all the action in the world. We'll be back on the other side of this break. So it's been one heck of a game here in Powassan between the Highway 17 rivals Espanola and Powassan, as it's 2-1. And it's been 2-1 since Gallant made this a 2-1 game in the second period in the mid-mark. So we've played almost half a game of hockey without any goals, despite the amount of a bajillion penalties, a bajillion power plays. In fact, 6 minutes of this period have been power play minutes for Espanola. Back-to-back-to-back penalties, all 5-on-4, and Espanola cannot beat Derek Champagne or even get too many good opportunities on him, and now with 7 minutes to go, they're looking and searching for that tying goal. The Voodoos are looking to either hold out for an empty netter or to try to find one, and maybe they have one here. Looking for Barkley. Vale clears it. Comes back out to the neutral zone. Here's Marcus Kratz. Comes up here to Shaw. William Shaw puts it in. There's a shot right off the boards. Stopped by Champagne, and Boys has it. Boys bringing it up. He tried to find the trailer in Barkley, but Barkley was a little bit behind him. And now Shaw picks it up here for Espanola. He gets it across the red line, then just dumps it in. Ends up hitting Jasoni. Gray leaves it for Bonsignor. Parker Bonsignor sends it in. Vale comes out to play it. Logan Vale will fire it around the boards, but he finds a white jersey in Jasoni, but then he gives it away. Now Jasoni, he's going to be looking for Gallant. Gallant to tie it, and Champagne a big save. That might be the save of the game. Not the flashiest, but what an opportunity there for Jason Gallant to get his second of the game, but he's denied as a good play there from Champagne. Keeps his body in front of it, and then Jasoni and Gallant right after it get into a pushing match. And well, there you go. We talked about it in the break. Are there going to be penalties? And it looks like both of them are going to be sent off for roughing. Jasoni goes off, a double minor for roughing, and it looks like Drigo, who it looks like it was Drigo, not Gallant, who was the man in that scrum, and Drigo goes off for a single bout of roughing, I believe, but we'll have to wait for the call. It did look like the referee singled 4 minutes on the Powassan side.
Maybe just gesturing 4-on-4.
That could be it too. So there's 2 minutes on the board. We'll wait for the official call.
And it does look like we're just having 2 minutes of 4-on-4 here.
So the face-off won by Espanola. They couldn't do it with the man advantage. Maybe they can do it with 4 men. So yeah, it does look like, as you said, I guess I'm not going to be the referee whisperer because I did not read those signals right, so don't put me in the scoring table. It's like almost being like a doctor trying to read the prescription notes.
I was just talking about that today.
So both teams now 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes, which opens up this ice a little bit. Of course, the Sportsplex, a small place, maybe opens the game up, and now a chance in front. There's a shot, and it goes up and high. What an opportunity for the Voodoos. It was the captain, Justin Russo, looking to ice the game. Wasn't able to do it. But now, dancing all the way through there was Smith. Now a shot from Coates is blocked. Gray blocks it. DiGiacomo gets a shot, and Russo blocks it. Coates keeps it alive. Over to Smith. Smith, he's getting pushed around by Gray. With two former teammates getting in each other's face here. The puck comes loose, and it finds the stick of a Paper King. Here's Coates, shot, stopped by Champagne. The puck is right there, it's still loose, and Champagne gets another stick on it, or another pad, I should say, to stop DiGiacomo. What an opportunity for the Paper Kings. Champagne up to the task. Now Coates again shoots up high and wide off the glass. 25 seconds left on 4-on-4. The puck is able, chest gets out of the zone, meaning that Espanola has to check up. 4 minutes to go in this hockey game. And now with a burst of speed the other way come the Voodoos. A shot stopped by Vale, coming off the stick there of Bagley. And it is going to be an exciting finish to this hockey game. It's still 2-1.
Well, we said it was going to be a bit of a goalie duel tonight, and boy, both have stood on their heads. Derek Champagne's pad work has been exceptional tonight, having to make follow-up saves up close multiple times, and maybe the most vital in that previous sequence.
They haven't looked the most impressive if you're not a hockey fan, but when you understand like being in the right position, it's something that, you know, former Montreal Canadian Carey Price was so good at, was positioning. Sometimes the hardest saves you can make look easy. Now the puck comes out of the Espanola zone. Champagne comes out to play it. And there's a big hit into the corner as Heath Bradley was sent in and a little awkwardly into the boards. 37-31 the shots in favor of the Voodoos. That was over 10 shot difference earlier in the period. Here's Roussel. Roussel dancing through men. Roussel looking for someone in front, still has the puck. Leaves it behind the net. And now it's going to be into the possession of Espanola, but Jesse Lefebvre fighting for it. Ends up getting picked up by Wyatt Ferries. Wyatt Ferris sends it around. Now on the stick here of Miller. And now it's sent up, and it ends up going off of the netting and out of play for a whistle. 3:09 left to go, and we will have to keep an eye on Logan Vale to see when he will be sent off into the bench for the extra attacker, though we're still probably another 90 seconds or so away from that.
It's going to be such a gamble if it does come to that, because despite having multiple chances at a man advantage, Espinola's had a difficult time keeping the puck in the offensive zone when they've been up a man.
Well, they've tried it 5-on-5. They've tried it with a man advantage. They've tried it 4-on-4. Maybe they need to take a penalty and score shorthanded. Though now that I say that, it's probably, maybe I shouldn't say that.
They did have an opportunity earlier.
There's a big shot that came in by Zachary Gron that ended up having to be swatted away by Champagne, and now bodies flying out in front, but Owen Head has the puck. Looking out in front, looking for Bagley. Bagley shot from a sharp angle, stopped by Vale, as bodies were flying in the neutral zone prior to that. And now there's 2:40 left to go in the period.
And a nice rushing opportunity from the Powassan Voodoos. They go for that cross zone pass, but not quite enough heat on it to get Vale out of position.
So face-off coming off to the left side of Logan Vale. A face-off won by Espanola, a crucial one for them. Savage with it. Savage brings it up. He gets it into the corner, and now the puck trying to get loose, trying to find somebody. And it's going to come and be cleared by the captain, Rousseau. Now here's Kupal. Kupal going up against Brownlee. His pass in front for Bradley was in his skates and ended up going all the way through, back into the neutral zone, and Roussel will just dump it in. Boys with it now in the corner. Boys back to the point, and now the Voodoos looking to set something up here with 2 minutes to go. Roussel fans on the shot, sends it around to Bradley behind the net as they cycle back up to the blue line. Pass comes through, it gets picked off by Smith. Smith trying to get Brownlee free. Not able to quite connect the dots there. Back into the Espanola zone. They go off for a change, and it's Savage who tries to get up for Farber. Just out of his reach. It'll be icing with 96 seconds left on the clock. Still 2-1 Powassan. And let's give you a really, really quick around the league update here, as this game's almost done to an end. Greater Sudbury has extended their lead now 8-3 with 3 minutes to go, so it looks like a victory for the Cubs to continue their league-leading campaign. Timmins, now at the end of the second period, leads Kirkland Lake 5-3, and Blind River has come back to tie things against the Sioux Michigan Eagles in the second period. So that's where everything stands. Here, though, in the Sportsplex, it is 2-1 with 1:28 to go. And another icing immediately, as you can see the Paper Kings here, Harrison, trying to kind of do what the Voodoos have done, which is get that pass from one end into the neutral zone to maybe get a breakaway.
Yep, they're just looking for the stretch pass. They're looking for the quick play, and they've been looking to get Logan Vale off the ice. About a minute ago, Vale inched at the top of the crease, repeatedly looked over, but the Voodoos just kept on those war battles, and Espanola could not win the checking game in the offensive zone. These multiple icings have just kept the Paper Kings in their ends.
Coates, and they find themselves offside as Savage was on the wrong side. Keeping an eye here on Logan Vale. It looks like he's toying with it. He's trying to find out when they want him to go to the bench with 1:15 to go. Face off outside of the Voodoo zone. Now again, it's a small ice surface and things can turn around quickly, so it's a bit more of a gamble here than it would be in some rinks. Coates will take the face off against Landry, and Coates will win it, but it ends up going back into the Paper Kings zone. Vale again looking to the bench to see when they can get the extra attacker on. Here's Gallant. Gallant brings it into the zone. There goes Vale. Extra attacker on. The Voodoos now have an open net to look at if they can get it, and Landry will bounce it off of the net. It's going to go all the way down for icing, and this is going to be perfect for Espanola as Reed DeBox goes back to touch up. Because with 46 seconds, they've pinned the Voodoos in their own zone with the extra attacker, and this will be probably the most important face-off of this hockey game.
And the Voodoos have done an excellent job winning face-offs tonight, mostly in the offensive zone. But here, they'll have to stay on top of things. Espanola, I believe, does still have their timeout, so watch out for that as well.
Face-off won by the Paper Kings. Off to the right of Champagne. Shot comes through, they score! It squeaks below Champagne's pads. And the Paper Kings, with 39 seconds to go, have tied things up. And it's Joseph Coates who's leading the line back. The extra attacker finally works, and they've been playing with fire for so long, and the Voodoos finally get burned, and it looks like we might be headed into overtime.
39.8 seconds remaining, and one finally beats Derek Champagne. We have not had a goal in this game since the 8:54 mark of the second period, despite multiple power plays, despite multiple man advantages. It takes a 6-on-5 for Espanola to break it.
So it looks like they were not maybe happy with who was on the ice, or Smith looked like maybe picked up a bit of an injury as he goes off, and on comes Carter Grigo. But the question is, with 39 seconds to go, does either of these teams, can they look to go for the win here before we get into overtime? A point almost guaranteed for both teams, and it looks like they might be playing for another point in just a handful of seconds. And we talked about it being the biggest face-off, and it ended up proving to be right, as the face-off win led to that goal by Joseph Coates, who gets his 19th of the season. And now with 8 seconds left, maybe one last gasp. Here's an opportunity for Heath Bradley, but he couldn't get the shot away. It's going to be cleared, and that will do it and send us to overtime. 39 seconds was what was between the Voodoos and a 2026 home win to start things off against Espanola, but it was denied from Joseph Coates' game-tying goal in the dying seconds, which means we are headed to overtime. And with 50 seconds for these benches to get their message across, what's going to happen now, Harrison?
Well, what's going to happen, for those unaware, is 7 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime. And unlike other leagues, if there is no victor at the end of overtime, we have a tie. The tie was reintroduced last season, and we've only seen a handful of them, but it is a factor. And what happens in that case is both teams just stick with 1 point apiece.
Well, I think if you're Espanola, you're probably happy with that, or you're not going to complain. In fact, that would actually, I was going to say that would tie them, but they both get a point. If Espanola wins this in overtime, they will actually go on points with the Voodoos. So it could be, again, we go back to where they are, 1 point behind the Voodoos coming into this. This could be a huge second point for the Paper Kings here as we reach a very important part of the season. Not a lot of season left, only about a month and a half to go. And it could be a big point that they pick up that could change who they face in the playoffs. On the other hand, if you're the Voodoos, if you don't get these 2 points, you're going to feel like points slipped away from you, because again, 39 seconds was all they had to kill, and they didn't let a goal in for the last almost 22 minutes prior to that.
The momentum is certainly on the Paper Kings side, as the Voodoos only had a few seconds left to kill, but this draw, the previous may have been the most important. This has got to be the runner-up.
3-on-3 for 7 minutes. Face-off won by Ryan Saginaw. Voodoos have possession. Marcus Kratz with it. He brings it up. He's got Saginaw on the wings. Kratz fires and he scores! What a way to start it! The man, Marcus Kratz, the December Defensive Player of the Month, wins it in overtime, 10 seconds in. And the Voodoos pick up a much important second point, and they take down the Espanola Paper Kings in style. The final, Voodoos 3, Espanola 2.
Well, you asked me, Ben, what I thought was going to happen. I certainly could not have predicted that. The immediate face-off win. Kratz sees the space, takes the shot. It takes a little bit of a deflection, which I think was enough just to fool Vale as the puck soars in over his shoulder into the net and sealing the deal for the Powassan Voodoos.
Just to put this into context, Pavel Barclay, his 11th of the year at the 12-12 mark of the first period, was the last time that the Voodoos were able to find an answer on Logan Vale until 10 seconds into the overtime. And we mentioned the most important face-offs. That one face-off at the end of the third period, Espanola wins, leads to a goal. That opening goal of the draw of the overtime ended up being the most important, you called it, ended up being the most important draw, and Marcus Kratz with a bullet. I'm not going to lie, you can put him on the forward line. I don't think he'd look out of place.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a defender has gone up. As we saw earlier this season, Ben Jasoni slipped onto the fourth line amidst some injury and lineup shifting. But tonight, the Voodoos are the ones. They come away with the victory. A chaotic game, to put it mildly. In total, 12 penalties, 9, I believe. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. But first, let's actually look at our 3 stars.
So it looks like Derek Champagne is the man who gets third. There'll be Jason Gallant from Espanola getting the second, and of course Marcus Kratz getting the first star there. It was changed. It was actually Pavel Barclay who was the first star until that goal happened, and then they quickly changed it afterwards. So you also think another big important part of this, too, I go back to Jason Gallant's chance earlier in the third period where he had it one-on-one against Champagne, and Champagne came up with a big save. There were moments in this game that could have changed the narrative, but again, we got a goaltending clinic, and that's what was so surprising about the Kratz goal, was it was such a clean goal on Vale. Very surprising when you consider the goaltending that we've seen here.
And this is 3 OT winners this year for Kratz. Thank you, Mr. Courtney Kenny from home, for the stats updates throughout the night. He couldn't be here tonight with us in person, but he's certainly here with us in spirit.
So the next game for both teams are going to both be French River, as the Espanola Paper Kings will be going back home to host French River tomorrow night. But Tuesday night will be the next game for the Voodoos here at the Sportsplex, a 7 o'clock start against the French River Rapids. French River, by the way, when they come to play the Voodoos, not a good time. In fact, the last game I was a part of, they ended up beating them with something like 10 or 12-1. So it's tends to be a bit of a goal fest, but hopefully we get a good game nonetheless, though French River did get beaten up a little bit by Greater Sudbury. But a big 2 points at the end of the day, which puts the Voodoos now on par in points with the Thunderbirds and Hearst Lumberjacks with 42, and still a game in hand on the Sioux Thunderbirds. So that does get them closer to the top 4 spots. Harrison, as we take a look at our last thoughts on this game, first of all, a fantastic game, but what are your last thoughts here before we head off?
Just a gutsy effort all around. This game doesn't reach its conclusion without a spectacular penalty kill. If we were able to log time on ice, I would love to see what Justin Russo's numbers were, because he was an absolute bulldog down there, just rushing the boards, keeping things tight, and clearing pucks, just playing super effectively. Derek Champagne, what a standout. He didn't really solidify his role on this team until the final game of the preseason against the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners, and now look at him coming up huge tonight. Absolute tip of the cap to Logan Vale. He played an outstanding game in net as well. Just an absolute barn burner here tonight in Powassan. Thank you so much for joining us. There's no place I'd rather be on a Friday night.
Yeah, what a crazy Friday night here at the Sportsplex. A chance of jubilation for both fan bases, whether you're an Espanola fan or a Powassan fan, though it was Powassan who had the last minute, a last 39-second to go, game-tying goal from Joseph Coates, and then Marcus Kratz, his third overtime winner this year, 10 seconds in, right off the draw. A big draw that was won by Ryan Saginaw ends up being the game difference maker, and the Voodoos pick up all 2 points here in the Sportsplex. So we will see you back Tuesday evening when French River comes to town. A big thank you to Harrison Clements on color and Mike Brown on camera. I'm Ben Sargent saying thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with us. We will see you the next time here, as this has been another edition of the NOJHL on Flow Hockey and the Frontline YouTube channel, brought to you by Average Joes.